Remember I said we are, like they want to tell us we from Africa? That's a lie. It's bullshit lie. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, and there's documentation. So what I'm telling you is, what I'm going to tell you, I mean, I'm telling you there's legal documentation, there's governmental documentation, there's scientific documentation, there's, physical documentation, that proof, archaeological documentation, biblical documentation, ancient documentation that shows we ain't from that place that they call Africa. On top of that, I don't want to go, because that's a whole nother lecture. But they told us a lie about being from Africa. And when I tell you that there's proof showing this all over the place, that we are originally from the Americas. Okay, I said there's legal documentation showing it. There's physical documentation. There's governmental documentation. There's archaeological documentation. There's biblical documentation. All kind of proof showing that we are from the Americas. And the land belongs to us and is in our name. I said all that to say that the land is already in our name. We just have to know how to claim it. And that's what we're going to start doing, claiming our land. Who you think wrote the Constitution? What color were they? Okay, wrong. Moors and Native Americans wrote the Constitution. In the Constitution, they have the land in land patents. Land patents, so that only their ancestors can have access. And it's still that way to today. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you, because see, we don't ask enough questions, and we don't think about things. You know that our people had most of the land was in the name of our people in the early 1900s. Most of the land in the United States was in the name of melanated people in the early 1900s, right? You can go down to the county and find this information and this documentation and this proof that most of the land in North America was in the name of melanated people. Now, let me ask you this. If Caucasians actually wrote the Constitution and they was over here and they brought us over here on boats, we are people who they said could not read and didn't have intelligence and this and that and that. How in the hell did they bring us over here on the boats, but then all of the land ended up in the name of our ancestors? How did that happen? That didn't even make no damn sense, does it? You mean tell me you gonna bring all these people over here and somehow, some kind of way, they just end up with all the land in their names? Well, how did that happen? What the hell was y'all doing? The truth is, now, and so when you're ready, maybe next week or whenever you're ready, I'll give you the history on what really happened, is that they were the original slaves. Caucasians were. And in fact, the term slave comes from the term Slavic or Slovakian, and those are Caucasians. See, this is why we got to start researching these words, these terms, these etymology, this history. They were the original slaves, not melanated people. And notice how, like, if somebody from another country does something wrong or something bad, they're going to deport them. Well, how come if we come from Africa, so as they say, why they ain't deporting us? Okay, there you go.